So we talked about, guys, listen, Jackson. So we talked about sort of endocrine system in general, system of glands, which produce hormones that go through the bloodstream and have effects on various parts of the body. So usually a hormone is produced in one place, but affects organs in another place. So we'll talk about some specific endocrine glands, and we'll talk about what they're used for, what hormones they produce, and a little bit about what some possible disorders that could be involved with those endocrine glands. So the first one is the pituitary gland. It is a very important one. It's actually, it's probably one of the most important glands, but it's this tiny little gland. It's actually just, it's attached to the brain. This is the pituitary gland right here, this red thing. It's about the size of a pea. It's attached to the base of a brain, and it's often called the master gland. And the reason is because it produces a whole series of hormones that control many of the other glands in the human body. So it kind of has control over many of the other glands.
Master.
And it's very small, the base of the brain, but it's very important. And besides controlling other glands, it also produces an important hormone that's related to growth. Anybody know the name of a hormone that's what's probably working at your age in your body, causing you to become taller as the years go by?
The growing hormone?
That's one of them, but that's not as much related to you growing in size. It's related to other changes. Human growth hormone is the hormone produced in the pituitary gland.
Wait, what does the first word say?
Secretes. So the pituitary gland secretes or makes human growth hormone.
Oh wow.
Why may you have heard of this before?
I know.
Anybody know?
Class.
Okay, well, in terms of what?
Milk.
In terms of what?
Did you hear about it in terms of sports at all?
Yeah.
Jackson?
I was thinking milk is a growth hormone.
Okay, good. If you go to the grocery store and you look at the various types of milk, you may see some that say not produced using BGH. BGH is not human growth hormone, but bovine growth hormone, which is basically the same equivalent but used for cows. And so some farmers give this hormone to their cows, which encourages them to put on more muscle mass, to be larger, to be more productive. And so some people don't want to buy milk in which the cows have been given growth hormone. So some brands advertise that they don't use that on their cows.
Wait,
In sports,
isn't it like this drug that you can use to make your muscles like bigger?
As a steroid.
Yeah.
yes, it is. Hold on, it is. Growth hormone is sometimes used as a performance-enhancing drug in sports. It's illegal. It's a banned substance in all sports, but people will sometimes still use it to allow them to recover from injuries more quickly, to put on more muscle mass. Human growth hormone has those effects as well. It's what A-Rod just recently got in trouble for using human growth hormone. And so it's used in that way as well. But it is an important hormone that acts naturally in the human body, like I said, especially at your age, because human growth hormone, the effects, it's produced in the pituitary gland in the brain, but it travels throughout the bloodstream and has major effects on bone and muscle tissue. What it does is when it gets those tissues, it encourages them, the bones, to grow longer, to elongate. And that's what causes you to get taller over the years, is the amount of growth hormone produced by your pituitary gland changes over time. And it may go through certain times in your life when it's producing a lot and you're growing a lot, and it may go through other times when you're not growing quite as much. And so that's why people go through phases of growth when they have growth spurts, and then times when they're not growing as much. So human growth hormone is an important an important hormone to growth. But there are disorders in which the pituitary gland sometimes does not produce enough human growth hormone. In that case, a person bones don't get those signals to grow larger, and that could lead to dwarfism, which is when a person, due to a lack of growth hormone, does not reach a normal height. Okay, because their bones never receive. There's many other reasons for dwarfism as well. This is one possibility of a lack of human growth hormone. Sometimes when people are diagnosed early on with this pituitary dwarfism, which is what it's called, they may be given artificial injections of growth hormone to try to encourage their bones to start growing at a more normal rate. At the opposite end, there are also disorders in which the pituitary gland produces too much growth hormone. Okay? And this is called gigantism. And a couple examples. This is the tallest living man today, I believe, on Earth.
What's that name?
He's nearly 8 feet tall.
Oh,
Not quite. This is a boy who has pituitary gland disorder. This is his mother. He's only 12 years old. He's 6 foot 5 inches, and he's only 12, not done growing yet.
Oh my gosh, so he's gonna be like 12 feet tall.
This is the tallest man to ever have lived. Okay, he was 8 feet 11 inches tall. This is his father standing next to him.
Is that a normal height?
Yes, he is 8 feet 11 inches, much taller than any living human today. And the reason that he grew so tall is because he had a tumor on his pituitary gland.
Yeah,
This tumor on his pituitary gland caused it to constantly produce growth hormone and never stop. He was growing up until the time that he died, and he was in his 20s. He always grew from the time he was a tiny little infant until until he died. He was constantly growing. He was taller than his teachers. In kindergarten, he was taller than some of his teachers. When he died, the last pair of shoes he had made for him, they were a size 40 shoe.
Oh my god.
Okay?
That's
He's absolutely enormous. Now, sometimes you'll say, oh, that would be awesome, you would play basketball, but it was not. Being that tall, it's difficult for your joints to support that weight. He had to have special shoes. He needed to wear ankle braces because his ankles were not strong enough to support him. And that's eventually what did kill him. He's got an infection because of an injury due to the ankle brace that he wore, and that spread throughout his body, and eventually he died. No, especially at that time. He lived in like the 1940s. They didn't do it then. There are treatments for it, but sometimes they're successful, other times they're not. Joe?
What about midgets?
That's just a term generally used for anybody of far less than average height, and again, it could be caused by like a whole variety of causes. It could cause a person to be shorter than normal, and one thing is that normally a person who suffers from a lack of human growth hormone, all of their limbs are still in proportion to each other. They're just shorter all over. Other types of disorders, their torso may just be shorter, or just their legs and have a normal sized torso. There's a whole bunch of different factors that come into play there. Maggie?
So, since that guy was 8'11", did he have to sit in the back of the classroom?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'm going to show you a video right now that shows video of him, and you can see him going in the classroom and see him when he was a kid.
I know.
Because, when you're that height, people sort of think, like they show him with his 6th grade class when he's 12 years old. And I mean, he looks like an adult, like a man, but he's just a 12-year-old kid. So, he's still just had that mental capacity, even though he looked like a grown adult. He's just really a kid. And they talk about, he couldn't